Hey everybody, Popcan Dan. Hope everybody's doing well. This is my 2019 roundup. I want to just show you guys a couple of things, and I want to talk to you about a couple of things, and let's do a couple of things. All right, so hey man, 2019 is in the books. We're in 2020 now. It's funny, each year I always say to myself, I don't think the next year can get any better than it was. And it might not be the fines, maybe the fines were not as good each year, but it's different things that make up a successful year. And I think it's meeting people, digging with people, just new friendships online, things like that. That's what makes like when we talk about the treasure. You may find a physical treasure. That might be great, but you know what? I think the real treasure with metal detecting it's the searching, it's the friendships that you have, and of course I think the actual physical, tangible treasure is the last part of what makes treasure in my books. That's how I see it. I had a great year. I didn't find a ton of things. I didn't get out as much as I wanted to. I was busy this year, but that's fine. And but just some of the hunts I've had were just insane. And it's people like Redbeard and the Bradford Beeper. These guys, Dangerous Dave Shaw. I went out with him this year. These are guys that make it fun, man. They make you want to go out. It's the camaraderie. That's the real treasure. That's what I was looking for. The word I was looking for is the camaraderie. That's the real treasure when you are out there searching. And it's hard to find, man. You need to find that stuff. That's what makes a great hobby, is the people involved that come along with the hunt as well. So yeah, I just want to talk about a few things. I'll just show you a few quick finds that I found this year. This definitely being one of them. This is a pair of candle snuffer scissors. I was with Redbeard and we found this at a permission that he got. It's an old permission, 1830, somewhere around there. And it was freezing cold that day. We were not finding luck. My underwear was too big. It kept falling down. It was really embarrassing. I think he even got that on video. I kept complaining about my underwear falling down. I had to go hide behind the trees and try to tie it up somehow. But anyways, I came up with this, and we were both kind of stumped. We'd never seen this before until we got home, and I Googled it. And I was like, that is really cool. That was awesome. Yeah, look at that. I'm still stumped. I don't know if anybody's seen the video of this. I don't know, man. I'm more convinced it's definitely not a musket ball. It's really heavy. And I've had some people look at it. Redbeard looked at it, and he was stumped. He said, he's not sure what it is either. Like I said, tell me, man, if you think it's a ball bearing or something, we can put this thing to bed. It's still a mystery. Look at, yeah, put this up close. It's just, I don't know, man. Help me out. Somebody help me out with that. Yeah, so you know what? I think this might have been this was my white whale. This was on my bucket list. I got 3 things that were on my bucket list. I was able to scratch one off this year. I was so excited about that. I'm still looking for an Indian head penny. That's still on my bucket list. I am still looking for a Dragon Slayer token. These were British tokens between 1850 and 1857. I went out digging with the Bradford Beeper this year on 2 different occasions, and he pulled out 1, 2, 3 dragon slayers right in front of me as I was filming. These are my bucket listers. If you want to talk about the pain you feel, man, when you get this. But you know what? I was able to cross the third thing off my list this year. It's been eluding me for 25 years that I've been doing this hobby. This year, in 2020, marks my 26th year metal detecting. All right? And this has been eluding me for the longest time, but look at this. I finally got one. There she is. Skeleton key. And you know what the funny thing is about the skeleton key? This skeleton key, if I look out my back window, I can see the field that I found this in. It's the farm across the field from me that I got permission for. And we went out in the field, Redbeard and I. We weren't finding much out there. And it's funny because there was a church that had apparently burnt down before 1850. It was built in 1830. It was only there about 20 years. We figure it was built out of wood, burned down. Nothing really left of it at all. We were just finding scraps of little iron and stuff. But there it was, my my white whale, my bucket lister, right in the ground. All right, and as far as coins go, I didn't have a big coin year. Actually, you know what? Sorry, I got another. I wouldn't call it a bucket lister, but it was something that's been bugging me for years. And you hear me in a lot of my videos complaining about it, that I never found an 1800s large cent. I found many from 1900 to 1921. Never an 1800s, and it drove me crazy. And you know the funny thing is, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I got 5 this year. Just bizarre. But anyways, my favorite coin this year was a. Take a look at that. Ooh, she's bent pretty good. This is an 1833 Upper Canada Commerce token. It's got a really beautiful ship on one side, and just. That was really amazing. It came out of the ground, and the Bradford beeper was going. I think it's just a bent washer, and he was just messing with me. And sure enough, I pulled it out, and we reviewed it, and there she is. That's I think that's one of my favorite finds this year for sure. I just dropped it on the ground. Where did it go? Okay, like I said, I've been metal detecting for 25 years, and it was bizarre. It's been an up and down ride with me, and I bought a metal detector in 1994. I'd been wanting to go since I was 14 years old. I only pulled the trigger 10 years later when I was 24, and it was an up and down with me. I got into it. I kind of left it a little bit, got into it. It came and went in waves, and I'll tell you this right now. I'm gonna pick up the camera right here. I'm going to show you guys these two crazy guys right here. I went to a hunt in 2016, and it wasn't even that. It was, I think, when did their show come on? I think it was like 2012 or something. They lit a fire under my behind to get back into the hobby, and I think that's the case with a lot of people. That George and Tim from Diggers really brought metal detecting back into the limelight again and made it cool. Actually made it cool. People are going, I want to do this. I want to get out detecting. People contacting me, going, you detect, right? I want to get into it. And I'm like, dude, you were like the quarterback on the football team. What do you want to metal detect for? You know, with us nerds. But hey, it's these guys brought it back, man, and I'm really thankful for that. You know, and it really lit a fire under me, and I got going again. I mean, I had been baptized with the metal detecting gods, and I was reborn again, ready to detect, and I haven't stopped since, man. That was since 2012, but yeah, like 7 or 8 years I've been going hardcore, and I'm really happy with that. Okay, hey man, just listen. I know that I don't want to make the video too long, but there's a few things I want to talk about. Number one being getting permissions. All right, you hear at the end of my videos, I always throw this stuff out there, and people are probably getting sick of it, going, oh, here he goes again with his the old token head scratch. Here he goes again with the going on and on about these code of ethics. But you know what? The code of ethics for me is very strong. It's what keeps the hobby going, and we need to follow the code of ethics in order to keep this hobby going. I'm hearing about places, friends of mine online in the States who are detecting. I hear almost daily something comes up and goes, oh, this town banned metal detecting, this town banned metal detecting. Apparently in certain states you can't even metal detect anymore. It's starting to be that way up here in Canada, man. Within the GTA limits, apparently you are, the Greater Toronto area, you're not allowed to metal detect in parks, in public parks. It's part of the bylaws, man. It's, you know, that's why I haven't detected parks for years now. I'm only on permissions. But so what I'm getting at here is, let's talk about permissions. All right, folks, you need to, if you are going to detect on somebody's property, go get permission. All right. Don't, and I know, I have a feeling a lot of people just nighthawk. They don't want to nighthawk, but I bet they do because they're too afraid to go ask for permission. You know what? Never be afraid, man. You go up there and you just be truthful and you explain to them what you're doing, why you're doing it. You're trying to save history, and hey, I want you, landowner, to be a part of this. All right? I brought an extra detector. I want you to come out on your own property and dig with me. And most landowners go, really? That sounds awesome. I've always wanted to try that. And you get it. You know what? You're not always going to get permission. I just got turned away yesterday. Yesterday, I got rejected from a property I wanted, an 1835 house in the next town over from me. And I've been eyeing it for years. And I finally got the kahunas to go talk to them, and they turned me down. I gave the full speech and everything. And the guy was really polite. He was really nice, but he said, you know what? At this time, we're just not ready for something like that on my property. He goes, there might come a time, but he goes, not, just unfortunately not right now. So I understood that, and I thanked him very much. And I just said, you know, you got beautiful property here, man. Be proud of that. And that's how it goes. You know, you're gonna get some, you're not gonna get some. But folks, please, don't go on property if you don't have permission. All right, that's what's hurting. That gets into the media. The police, when they get called from somebody trespassing, and next thing you know, boom, there goes another town with a bylaw up, says you cannot metal detect. All right, I got rejected earlier this year from one property I went to, and it was an 1830s house, beautiful house, man, on a property, and it was actually, the people had a house on the property, but they had this other structure right in the middle of their front yard, and I did research on it just from myself, and I knew what it was. And I went up there and I knocked on the door and I talked to the lady and I said, listen, this house is very historical. You know, I would love to be able to swing a detector on your property and see what we find. And I'd love to show you. I want you to be a part of it. You can keep whatever I find. I'm just a coins guy. I just like the coins. And she turned to me and she kind of shut me down right away. Said, I'm sorry, I can't do it. And I said, oh, okay, no problem. You know, I never argue with them. I'm like, no problem, thanks for your time. And as I was walking away, she stopped me and said, hey, hold on. Do you know why I'm not giving you permission? And I turned, now I want to know. I said, why? I just curious. Yeah, for sure. And she told me that a few days earlier, there were two people on her property. Well, she said there's people trespassing all the time on the property. She said, but 2 days earlier, there was somebody on the property. And I asked her, I said, did they have metal detectors? And she said, yeah, they did. Both of them had a metal detector in her hand. I'm like, that really ruins it for the rest of us, man. All right, so I'm gonna close. I'm gonna finish my talk here on permissions. But folks, just grow up, get permission, grow a pair, and go knock on the door. All right, don't be a coward and just trespass. You're ruining it for everybody. All right, that's my rant about that. Now let's move on to something else. Okay, so this is kind of a. The has to go along with getting permission. I call it giving back to a landowner. So when I do get permission, I talk to the landowner. I want the landowner to be as involved as possible. Some of them, they want to be. They want to know what's going on, what's under their land, what's under their grass. They want to know. Other people don't really care. I have a permission just down the road from me, and it's an elderly lady. And I told her, I said, listen, I'm going to show you everything I find. And she cut me right off. She goes, I don't care what you find. You keep everything. She goes, I'm quite content with my life. I said, I know, but what if I find a big honking gold ring or something? That's on your property. That's yours. She goes, you know what, son? She said, I can't take it with me when I go, so you keep it. And I'm like, ooh, I like that. I like that. In other words, she meant when she moves on to, what do we call it, greener pastures, she can't take her possessions. It means nothing to her. So I thought that was pretty neat. I said, okay, but I still wanted to show her, and I still rang her doorbell and showed her all the things I found. And that was really cool. That's one side of it. But then you have another side where you'll have a landowner who wants to be involved, they want to see everything, and if there's really neat stuff, they want to keep some of it because it's keepsakes. They're probably might have been in their family for generations. And if I pulled something out and it said John Smith on some really intricate piece of relic or something, and this is the Smith house, been there for 200 years, I can't keep that, man. That's not mine, that's theirs. So I show them, I say, hey, look at what I found. And they're like, oh my gosh, that my great-great-grandfather's, his might have been a lighter or something. That's his, it's got his name inscribed on it. And that's what we do. You give back to get, all right? You don't understand what I mean? You give a little to get a lot. Trust me, all right? I have a permission in a town a little north of here that I found some stuff, and Redbeard was with me. He found a really neat general store token. He gave it back to the landowner, man. And you want to talk about, I went from 1 permission to 12 permissions in this town because we give back. Sorry, I found a pocket watch on one of the guy's property. I said, hey, look at this. I bet you would like this, man. I said, this is a part of your property. He was super stoked. He goes, oh my gosh, can I have that? I said, it's your property. I gave it to him. What did he do? He ran down the street and got me 2 more permissions within 10 minutes. That's how it works. I just tell people I'm a coins guy. You're going to get a lot of properties. They don't care about what you find. Just take it. I don't care. Some of them, it's sentimental stuff, man. It does mean to them. The one property I found 2 dog tags. It was the grandmother's dogs that had these tags, and that's sentimental to the property, man. And I couldn't keep that. I gave it back to them. So just think about that. That's something really cool, all right? Something you can do. Definitely is giving back. That's huge. All right, you hear this in all my videos, all of my videos. Fill in your holes, folks. Fill in your holes. I don't want to sound like mom or dad, but please, man, it's not hard to do. It comes hand in hand. If you have a detector in your hand, guess what? You are not only a detectorist, you are a gardener, and you are a garbage man, all right? I'll talk about the garbage part in a second. But when you dig a hole, first of all, dig a hole right. Don't dig a hole like you're a badger or you're a raccoon or a skunk. All right, dig a proper C-shaped plug, circular C-shaped plug. Go on YouTube. There's videos, tons of people out there who do great jobs of explaining how to dig a proper C-shaped plug. So that is, you dig a C shape and you flip it over, but it's still attached to the original ground. And normally, if it's on nice manicured grass, I'll put down a towel and put the dirt on it that I dig out of the hole. I find my target, that the towel with the dirt goes back in the hole, the C-shaped plug comes back over, push it down, and what I always do, then I stand up and I stomp around the edges and I give it a quick little hand wipe like that, the wax on, wax off, and look at that, we're good to go. And I love calling a landowner to say, hey, I just dug 14 holes on your property. Can you find any of them? And they're looking around, they go, no. And that makes me feel good. It means I'm doing my job right, folks. Fill in your holes properly, okay? You can't make it look like bombs have been dropped all over the place. It's not cool. Oh yeah, taking your trash. That's, you know what? That is just common courtesy, man. You go on somebody's property, or even in the park, there's two ways to see this. You go on somebody's property, they gave you permission to be on there. And when you went on there, it's an agreement that you are going to take your trash with you. It's just the code of ethics for detectorists. You take it with you. And that's the proper thing to do. You take it with you. When you're in a public park, nobody's telling you take your trash. But you want to be a good ambassador to the hobby, you pick up, there's a pop can sitting over there on the grass, or empty beer can somebody drank in the nighttime in the park. Go over, pick it up, put it in your pouch. All right? And when that parks person comes around and says, hey, what are you doing? Are you making a mess over it? So no, man, check this out. Pull it out of your pouch. I'm actually cleaning up. I found a knife over there on the ground. I found a can. It sounds like a tough town I'm digging in, but no, I'm just kidding. But hey, and you show them, and people see this, and people walking their dogs and stuff. They see you picking up stuff, and that is really cool. That'll bring me to my next point as well. Being a good ambassador to the hobby. Oh my gosh, folks. This is so important. It goes hand in hand with not trespassing and stuff. This, because you are in the public eye, you are the face of metal detecting, all right? Being a good ambassador, somebody comes up to you and asks you, hey, what did you find? Or what are you doing? Stop. Take the time. It's part of the detector's code of ethics. You be nice to people. Stop, take the time and talk to them. I don't mean break into a half-hour conversation. Maybe pull a few finds out of your pouch, say, hey, yeah, here's what I found. Hey, I haven't found very much, or hey, I dug 14 holes over there. Tell me if you can find any of them, Things like that. You just want to, but just be nice to people, man. People, and I see it, probably 90% of the people that stop and ask me, they tell me, they say, you know what? I've always wanted to do that. And guess what? I am about to plant the seed with you to do it. You get little kids want to, maybe watch my videos or something. You plant the seed with them, and you plant the seed, and you teach them the proper code of ethics. That's how the hobby thrives. Okay, and this is another segue to what I was just talking about, being a good ambassador. It also means you're a natural mentor to people, all right? If there's a newbie out there, and they might reach out to you online, if you're on Facebook or anywhere, YouTube, and they reach out to you online and say, listen, brand new to the hobby, I don't know where to even find a metal detector for starters and how to detect, but I really want to get into it. Take them under your wing, man. Take them under your wing. Help them out. I see it online all the time, especially where I am in Toronto with our Toronto Metal Detecting Club Facebook. Somebody will post up, I'm a newbie, I don't know what detector. Within 5 minutes, you got 10 people. Here's my recommendation. Here's what you do. I will take the time, man. I'll meet you and I'll show you the ropes. You have to help people, man. Because you know what? When I started in the hobby, it was 1994. I was 24 years old. I moved here from Quebec to Ontario, and I looked in the paper and I saw an ad, metal detector sales. Oh, I phoned the guy first, and he said, come over to my house. And he didn't live too far away from me, so I went over to his house, knocked on his door. He opened the door. The second that dude opened the door, it changed my life. This guy invited me in, which was a little scary if you think about it, into his basement, which was even creepier. What am I doing going down to some guy's basement? But he brought me down and he turned on the lights in his basement, and this is what I saw. Cabinets and cabinets full of treasure, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I look over on the wall, and he had a whole line of detectors hanging on the wall that he sold. And I was like, and he starts talking, and every word, I was hanging on every word coming out of his mouth. I'm like, this is it. And you know what? This guy talked to me for 3 hours straight, and the guy was phenomenal. And I bought a detector. I walked out of his house with a detector in my hand, and I was so amazed that this guy took 3 hours of his time after dinner. I think I was there from 6 till 9 at night. And he took 3 hours, and we just talked, and I told him all the things I wanted to do, and he told me all of his adventures and everything. And I walked out of there, and the seed was planted. He planted the seed with me. He lit the fire under me, and I never looked back again. I'm going to give you his name. His name is Fred McDonald from Oshawa, Ontario. All right? Don't harass the guy. I think he's winding down. He's a little older now. I think he's in his 70s. But this guy, to me, was my Indiana Jones. He's the guy that lit the fire under me and got me going. And I don't know if you saw a video I did this year for, we called him Elliot, the Little Digger. He watches all my videos. I gave him one of my metal detectors, and I got him started. You know why? I paid it forward, man. It was the right thing to do, because this guy, Fred, did it for me 24 years, 25, 26 years ago now. I felt it was the right thing to do and pay it forward. Folks, it is the right thing to do. You have to do that, all right? All right, last thing I'm going to talk about, bullying online, all right? Come on, man. We are grown up. We're all grown-ups here. What are we doing? It's embarrassing when I see people fighting online. When somebody posts a find, be happy for them. This is another part of being a detectorist. There's the part of the code of ethics. You praise them, you raise them up, you lift them up, you make them feel good. Don't knock them down a few pegs. That's the wrong thing to do. All right, I got a pretty thick skin. I don't mind, but people still do it to me, and they go, "Oh, well, yeah, I bet that's no. Oh, hey, that's not even what you said it was." I'm like, you know what? If you feel something might not be what I think it is online that I posted, send me a private message. Don't attack somebody online. That's embarrassing, man. It really is. And when I see people belittle other people on a post or something, I jump in and I make that person feel really good. And I say, hey, that's a great find. Good for you, man. Congratulations. You will never, ever see me badmouth anybody online, all right? Never, never, never. Folks, don't do it. Don't be a bully, all right? That's it for me. That's 2019 in the can. The pop can is, there it is. We're in the can. 2019 is in the can. We're going into 2020. I'm super excited for this year, man. I've already got some permissions. I got another permission lined up for this spring that I'm super excited about. I know the Bradford Beeper, he's got permissions. He's waiting for me on Redbeard, where he's a busy guy. He's gone Hollywood. He's doing TV shows and stuff now. I'm still trying to find time to pull him out back into the field, but I work on it. And man, 2020 is going to be great, folks. All right, everybody, I hope your 2020 is awesome. I hope your finds pouch runneth over. All right, and there may be a treasure in every hole for you. Take care, everyone. I can imagine these people back in 1830 that own this, if they ever saw this right now, going, this dude is trimming his nose hairs with my candle snuffer scissors. Not cool.